Hello, students. Good morning. How are you all? I hope you understood the first chapter completely. No doubts. Okay, isn't it? So, today we are going to start with the second chapter, that is microorganisms, friend and foe. This will be a part 1 video. As I told you, a second chapter, microorganisms, friends and foe. Some introductions is there. In that you can see microorganisms are present all around us, but they are too small to be seen with naked eyes. They are present everywhere in the atmosphere, that is air, water and soil, isn't it? We have seen several kinds of plants and animals, and there are other living organisms around us which we normally cannot see, isn't it? Can we see very small tiny particles, huh? Or organisms? No, na. So such organisms around us there are which we normally cannot see. For such things, this what we used to see, we use microscope to see such tiny particles, isn't it? So these are called microorganisms, or you can call it as microbes. Okay, so these are the microorganisms. These are something which we have going to study in this chapter. Microorganisms or microbes. First, we will see what is microorganisms. As I told you before, microorganisms are very small organisms which cannot be seen with the unaided eyes or with naked eyes. They can be seen only with the help of microscope. I hope you have studied what is microscope, isn't it? Last year your teacher had shown you the microscope, how to use the microscope, isn't it? How we use the microscope? Can anyone see what is microscope? First of all, microscope is an instrument, isn't it? That makes what? That makes use of lenses to make smaller objects appear larger, isn't it? What is microscope? Microscope is an instrument that makes what? That makes use of lenses to make smaller objects appear larger. Usually a compound microscope is used for viewing tiny organisms, isn't it? So there are different parts of compound microscope. Understood? There are different types of compound microscopes are there. The object to be viewed under the microscope is referred to as the specimen, isn't it? Last time we have seen in the previous class, you have seen how to use this compound microscope, a very thin sheet of glass that we call the microscopic slide, isn't it? That slide is used to hold a small sample of the specimen. The second much thinner sheet of glass which we call cover slip, isn't it? That is placed over the sample. That cover slip protects what? Protects the microscope objective lenses by preventing it from coming into contact with the specimen sample. Understood? So it also helps to create what? Create an even thinness for the sample. right? And you have seen what are the basic steps to use that microscope. First, what you have to do, clean the mirror using a soft clean cloth if required, if the mirror is not clean. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to place the slide, or you can say the specimen, on the stage. Okay, then what you have to do, you have to adjust the focus of the eyepiece and objective lenses with the help from your, from you only have to do, isn't it? So view the slide through the eyepiece. From the eyepiece you can see what that slide is trying to show us. Okay, so these are the uses of microscope. Understood? So microorganisms may be unicellular or multicellular. Okay, microorganisms may exist alone or in a colonies. Colonies means in a group, isn't it? They will grow in a groups also, and that groups we called as a colonies, or it can live alone also. Understood? What is microorganism? Microorganisms are very small organisms which cannot be seen with the naked eyes. Okay, they can see only with the help of what? With the help of microscope. I made you understand what is microscope also. Hope you understood that, isn't it? This microorganisms are the most abundant organisms on our planet. They are found almost everywhere, isn't it? They are found almost everywhere, in ice cold regions, then hot springs and deserts, and even inside the bodies of animals and human beings also. Okay, so they can live alone also, or they can live, they can grow in groups, and that is what we called as a colonies. You can see here colonies, isn't it? So they may be what? They may be unicellular or multicellular organisms. Understood? For example, you might observe that during the rainy season, moist bread gets spoiled and its surface gets covered with greenish or grayish white patches. Have you seen? कभी देखा है आपने? Your in a rainy season, the bread gets spoiled, isn't it? What you see in, what can you see in that? The fungus, the surface which is covered with what? With the greenish white patches. What is that? Can anyone? That is what? Fungus, isn't it? So this is what we can see in this picture. Also you can see the bread which having a white patches. Can you see this? Huh? And here the greenish patches are there. So this greenish patches which you are seeing here, that you can't see, there is lots of tiny particles are there. What are they? What are they? They are, we cannot see with the naked eyes. They can be seen with the help of what? Magnifying glass or with the microscope. What you will see? You will see very tiny black rounded structures, isn't it? So these are the organisms which is moving around us. Understood? Then there are types of microorganisms. What are the types of microorganisms? There are four main types of microorganisms. They are bacteria, fungi, algae, and protozoa. Okay, what are the main four types of microorganisms? They are bacteria, fungi, algae, and protozoa. That, for example, if I give you about the bacteria, examples is lactobacillus or E. coli. Okay, and the example for algae, that is Chlamydomonas Spirogera, etc. And fungi, just now I gave you the example, that is bread, isn't it? Bread mold, penicillium, aspergillus, etc. Then protozoan. Protozoan में amoeba, paramecium, etc. These are the examples of these four main types of microorganisms. Now, here the other organisms, microorganism, is that viruses. Viruses are also considered as microorganisms, isn't it? They are different from other microorganisms. Why? Because they reproduce only in the body of host organisms. Host organisms like what? Like bacteria, plants, or animals. Okay, so that's why they are different. They are different from the other microorganisms because they reproduce where? They reproduce only in the body of host organisms. Like example I told you, like bacteria, plants, or animals. Then common ailments like cold, influenza, that we call as a flu, and most coughs are caused by these viruses. Serious diseases like polio and chickenpox are also caused by viruses. Okay, they are also caused by what? Viruses. Even the diseases like dysentery and malaria, they are caused by what? They are caused by protozoan. Okay, now we have learnt already in the previous class the various types of microorganisms, isn't it, in the 6th standard also and in 7th standard as well also. You can see the picture of bacteria having two types, that is spiral bacteria and rod shaped bacteria. These are the example of bacteria. Then the example of algae, I told you, Chlamydomonas, then Spirogera. Okay, these are the examples of algae. Then the example of protozoan, in that amoeba and paramecium. And see here, bread mold, you can see the black rounded patches with your naked eyes. Have you seen like that in your bread mold? No, na? But with the help of the microscope, you can see such type of black patches on that. Okay, then penicillium, aspergillus, these are the four main types of microorganisms, that is bacteria, algae, protozoan, and fungi. These are the examples which is given in the slide. For the bacteria, spiral bacteria, rod shaped bacteria. Why rod shaped bacteria? See the shape of this bacteria, it is like a rod, so it is called as a rod shaped bacteria. And here spiral bacteria, it looks like a Maggie. Huh? Isn't it? Does it look like a Maggie? Huh? Next time when you have a Maggie, you will think about this spiral bacteria. Okay, this was not in the syllabus. Okay, then algae. Algae, Chlamydomonas and Spirogera. Spirogera, you can see how it is look like a DNA, isn't it? So these are the some examples of microorganisms. Next, we will see about this front and view. Before that, I would like to ask, where do these microorganisms live? I repeat my questions. Where do microorganisms live? See, microorganisms may be single cell, isn't it? They may be single cell like bacteria, some algae and protozoa, or multicellular such as many algae and fungi. ठीक है, सिंगल सेल में लाइक algae हो या protozoa या bacteria, they are unicellular. मल्टीसेलुलर में many algae and fungi. So they live in all types of environment. Okay, they lives in all type of environment, ranging from ice cold climate to hot spring, and even deserts to marshy lands. They are also found inside the bodies of animals, including the humans also. Okay, so some microorganisms grow on other organisms while others exist freely. So here how does this microorganisms live? Okay, these microorganisms play an important role in our lives. Some of them are beneficial in many ways, uh, isn't it? They are beneficial in many ways, whereas some others are harmful and cause diseases. What are they? We will learn in details. First, friendly microorganisms, or you can say friend and foe. Okay, so microorganisms play an important role in lives. As I told you, they are beneficial in many ways, whereas some others are harmful also. They will cause a disease. Now, here microorganisms are used for making curd from what? From milk. Huh? Girls, you know that, right? Microorganisms are used for making curd from milk. Have you seen how your mother used to make the curd? Hmm? They used to boil the milk, and when it cools down, right? When it cools down, you put some 1 spoon of curd in that. After 2 to 3 hours, you can see that that milk has converted into curd. Hmm? For make the So microorganisms are used for making what? Making curd from milk, for making cheese, pickles, bread, cakes, pastries, alcohol, wine, vinegar, that is acetic acid, etc. So these are the things which we can use for making, the microorganisms can be used for making such things. Now first we have seen that making curd from milk. Here which types of microorganisms are used? The bacterium called lactobacillus. Here the bacteria which we are using for making curd from milk, that is lactobacillus, reproduces in milk and helps to convert milk into curd. Which bacteria? Lactobacillus. Then the second things which we can make, that is bread. Here the fungus called yeast reproduces in flour dough and produces carbon dioxide during respirations, which makes the dough soft and helps in making bread, cakes, biscuits, pastries, etc. Here for making bread, here what we are using? We are using the yeast, fungus that we called as a yeast. What the yeast do? They reproduces in a flour dough, and what they produce? They produce carbon dioxide during that respirations, which makes the dough soft and helps in making bread. जैसे आप गूंथते हो, when you make a dough of any flour, what happens after sometimes? It becomes very soft and fluffy. Why? Because we have added in that yeast, fungus we had added in that, isn't it? We had added the yeast, so it helps in making the breads, cakes, biscuit, pastries, etc. Understood? So they are uh, friend also, right? They are useful for this. We eat this what we call biscuits, cakes, bread, pastries, isn't it? They are useful for us. And what are the harmful things which is not good for our health, right? So here some commercial use of microorganisms are there. We will see one by one what is commercial use of microorganisms. In that you can see microorganisms are used for the large scale productions of alcohol, wine and acetic acid. I told you acetic acid is a vinegar. Yeast is used for commercial production of alcohol and wine. Okay, yeast is used for the productions of alcohol and wine. For this purpose, yeast is grown on natural sugars present in grains like barley, wheat, rice, and crushed fruit juices, etc. Okay, then the process of conversion of sugar into alcohol is known as fermentation. What is fermentation? The conversions of sugar into alcohol is known as fermentation. Yeah, okay, the fermentation means the by yeast here. What we are using here, yeast. By they produce what? They produce alcohol and even the carbon dioxide. शुगर में क्या होता है? कार्बन डाइऑक्साइड. So when the conversion of this carbon dioxide and alcohol into alcohol, that is known as a fermentations. Okay. Then Louis Pasteur, who discovered this fermentation? Louis Pasteur discovered fermentations in 1857. Okay, this scientist, that is Louis Pasteur, discovered the fermentation in the year 1857. Understood? So students, this was the second chapter. This was the some few topics we have learned today. I repeat it out once again. The introductions we have done. Microorganisms are present all around us, but they are too small to be seen with the naked eyes. So they are present everywhere in the atmosphere, that is air, water and soil. Then we learned about the microorganisms, or you can call as a microbes. What are microorganisms? They are very small organisms which cannot be seen with the naked eyes. They can seen only with the help of what? With the help of microscope. I made you understand what is microscope. We have already learned in the previous class, isn't it? Then microorganisms may be unicellular or multicellular, isn't it? Microorganism may even exist alone also, or in a groups that we called as a colonies, right? Example, I gave you the yeast, bread. In that what we see, we can see the greenish white patches. What does it show? It shows that in that there is a fungus. In bread mold, what is present? Fungus is present. You can I have shown you the in the second or third slides that how that bread mold having a black rounded structures, that fungus, how we can see even with the help of this microscope. Then we have learned the types of microorganisms. How many types are there? There are four main types of microorganisms, that is bacteria, fungi, algae and protozoa. We have learned the examples of this bacteria, algae and fungi and protozoans. Then the viruses. Virus also considered as microorganism, but they are different from the other organism. Why? Because they reproduce in where? They reproduce only in the body of organisms like plants, animals or bacteria. Then there is some some common cold, influenza, and then coughs are there which caused by these viruses. Then serious disease, if we talk, that is polio and chicken pox, they are also caused by the viruses. Then we learned about the bacteria's example, spiral bacteria, rod shaped bacteria. These all examples we have learned, or we have already learned. Then how these microorganisms are friendly to us, and even they are harmful to us. So the how microorganisms are useful to us, in they are useful in many ways, right? We have seen in the preparations of curd, bread, cake, etc. Then even in the productions of alcohol also, it helps in the preparations of some medicine also. Okay, then we have seen how the making of curds from milk can be done. I explained you that uh, curds contain number of microorganisms, isn't it? What are which are that? That is bacterium. Bacterium, that is lactobacillus. Lactobacillus is responsible for what? For curdling the milk. It multiplies in milk. This lactobacillus multiplies in milk and converts it into curd. And the product, even in the production of cheese and paneer also. Okay, I forgot to say about that. In the production of cheese and paneer also, this bacteria are useful. One more bacteria is there, that is streptococcus. Which one? Streptococcus. Okay, bacteria, that is one already I told you, lactobacillus. Second one is streptococcus. Then we I told you the examples of kneading the dough, like batura with the curd, of you if you make mixing curd with the rava to make what? To make idlis, right? So these are some things which we can do with the help of the curds. Then we used for making bread, that is what we use yeast. Yeast reproduce what? Yeast reproduces rapidly, producing what? They producing carbon dioxide during respiration. As more and more carbon dioxide is produced, the dough is going to rises in volume also, right? Why? This is the reason yeast is used in baking industry for making breads, pastries and cakes. Then we learned about commercial use of microorganisms. These microorganisms are used for large scale production of alcohol, wine and vinegar, right? Then yeast is used in the commercial production of alcohol and wine. It involves what? It involves the fermentation of sugar, which is present in what? In barley, wheat, rice, grapes, crushed fruit juice, right? These fermentations by yeast produce what? Produces alcohol and carbon dioxide. The process of conversions of what? Of sugar into alcohol is known as what? Fermentations, isn't it? So today, and this fermentation was discovered by what? Whom? Discovered by Louis Pasteur in the year 1857. So students, today we will do this much only. In the next lecture we will learn about the medicinal use of this microorganism, how they are used in medical field also. Okay, till then you have to go through with this, make a note of it for your understanding. Okay, for your understanding, make a note. Then I will send you the PDF of this chapter so that you can read your chapter in PDF only. Okay, I think you have not got your this textbook, so I send you the PDF. In that you can go through. Okay, till then, take care. Thank you.